and you actually came up with this topic. You wanted to talk about, do the other championship belts outside of the Universal Championship belt or outside of the main championships, do they actually matter? So I'm assuming you're talking about the United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship. What exactly do you mean in a sense? What belts do you actually think matter?
Honestly, I don't feel like the belts matter anymore, and I feel like the tag team belts have kind of been diminished as well as time went on, and I feel like it's really more about the guy who's holding the belt versus the belt's, prestige as it is. And that's why I really feel like it's gone down with these belts. Because I look at the Intercontinental in the United States, I'm like, not enough love and not enough fanfare and a lot of attention going on to it. And I feel like it's kind of lost this speciality about it, And I only notice when these belts get the love and attention they deserve, it's only when guys like Seth Rollins or Samoa Joe get the belt, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a lot more care and attention are involved with it. And I feel like that's like one of the bigger issues with it. And then when it comes to the Universal and the World Heavyweight belts, none of the issues I have with those is it's obvious the Universal Championship is getting more attention and it's getting more like I want to say polish when it comes to their matches and how they treat things. Because right now, the way I'm looking at Braun Strowman's championship, I'm like, the way you got it, the way how they're treating you, this is not good. It's like they're just throwing stuff together because they did not expect this to happen, which is obviously the case. And I feel like these belts don't really. I feel like these belts, the top two belts, they matter. But then if you go anything beneath that, it almost as if it doesn't matter. No matter what you do, it's like kind of irrelevant. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna take it a little further. I'm gonna actually say I don't know how much these belts actually matter altogether, including the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship. To me, just like you said in the beginning, I think the wrestlers make the championship. The rivalries make the championship. Right now, because there's not a top WWE superstar, like a top superstar, like a, you know what I mean, like a The Rock, a John Cena, a Stone Cold, like the main guys of the era, because we're missing that. I feel like the belts are taking a hit in my opinion. Like, of course the belts mean something, like in terms of like Drew McIntyre, he's the WWE champion, like it means something. Universal champion being Braun Strowman, it means something. But in terms of what I mean, back in the day, the World Championship, either if it was Triple H who had the World Championship, or if we want to take it even further back, when you talk about Hulk Hogan or you talk about Ric Flair, it meant the world. Like, those matches meant the world to us. Like, we were like, man, we were so invested into it because we were like, whoever wins this match, they're gonna win the belt. They're gonna win the championship. Right now, I don't feel that way. Right now, it's like Drew McIntyre, he's great. He's the champion. Braun Strowman, he's good. He's the champion. But it's like, it's not making me feel like I used to feel as a kid. Like, man, I want to grow up and I want to become the world champion. And I feel like because of that, I feel like the main reason for that is because the rivalries hasn't been too many good rivalries outside of Edge and Randy Orton. It's like, who's been like some great rivalries recently that has made the belts seem larger than life? Like,
I'll tell you this: they're not in Raw and SmackDown. They're in NXT.
Yeah, NXT. That's what I would say. The NXT titles do mean a lot to me, I think. But like, in terms of the Raw and SmackDown titles, even like they don't mean that much to me. Even the tag team titles. Even when we talk about the women's tag team titles, even though I like Sasha Banks and Bayley being the champions, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it means that much to me right now.
Because I'll tell you why it's kind of like that. You ever notice that the majority of the people who are involved with the tag team titles are only with the tag team titles? That's what makes it so bad for it. Because, like, I'll bring it back to you like this. I'll turn back the clock. Remember when Big Show and Chris Jericho had the belt? Mm-hmm. Or when Rey Mysterio and Batista were going for it? It was like, because you know why? All those guys could individually go off and go be the next WWE champion. Now, Kofi Kingston, Big E Langston, the Usos, and Miz and Morrison, none of these guys are going to touch the belt. None of them are.
I will say this.
I know Kofi did, though, but it's like this. Will it happen again? Probably not. And let's see. And I know Miz touched it, but his was more of like, you were a tool for The Rock, so you weren't meant to get the belt to begin with. So it's like that's my issue with the tag team belts. It's just like, it's like none of these competitors are going to be in the spotlight to become the next guy for the WWE belt or the World Heavyweight belt. You know what I'm saying?
Here's what I would say too. Everything hasn't been all bad. Like when I think of, when you talked about the tag team titles, when I think of the SmackDown tag team titles, those titles meant a lot to me. Just what's that? As of recently, because when the rivalry between the Usos and the New Day was taking place, they were having phenomenal matches, and it was a phenomenal rivalry to me. And I felt like the SmackDown titles meant a lot. But if I'm talking about currently, as of right now, a lot of the belts don't mean that much to me outside of the NXT, because it's like, the thing is, the best wrestlers right now are not the champions. I think that's the reason why. When I think about it, like, let's say Randy Orton, to me, he's the best heel in the business, and he's probably the best wrestler in the business right now to me, but he's not a champion. And he's bigger than the titles. It's like he doesn't need to be the champion, but it's like when you do that, that means the belts are with people who are lesser than Randy Orton, or like wrestlers that are lesser than Randy Orton in terms of greatness. And that means the titles are going to be diminished somewhat. Put the championship on Randy Orton right now, it's like, it should be on Randy Orton to me, because he's one of the best. Like, even when we talked about Charlotte last week and we were talking about her getting all these opportunities, and I was kind of like, I agree, she does get a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, I'm like, she deserves a lot of those opportunities because she's the best. Right now, Charlotte should probably be champion, because it's like, she would probably bring a lot more prestige to one of the women's championships, because she is the best. And it's like, the problem is when you don't have the titles on the best wrestlers, it's like they lose some of its prestige.